What's up, guys? This is Mike Loris, and I'm back with another game from the Starseries Season 3, or Star Ladder. I still don't know which one it is. I mean, in the replay pack, or the thing that you actually get when you get the ticket, it says Starseries 3. And I'm like, well, that's what I should call it then. But then everyone's like, Star Ladder, Star Ladder, Star Ladder. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And at this point, I have too many videos out of it that I don't really want to go through them and change it. So I'm not going to. It's Starseries, because I think the ladder was like the online event, and this is the Starseries. I have no clue. I'm just trying to bullshit my way through that. But anyway, this is going to be between VP Virtus Pro versus Na'Vi on the Radiant Dire, respectively. Na'Vi gonna first pick the Bounty Hunter. Very interesting. But the bands coming out: Twin-Headed Dragon, Leshrac, Rubik, as well as the Darkseer. Kind of looking like standard bands in the .75 era. But that will mean that Batrider plus TA get through, and Batrider is the first pick. Usually, well, you never really see that. Batrider is usually picked in these kind of last pick slots, but I guess Na'Vi really do want to get that long lane solidified. Maybe Light of Heaven really wants to play that Bounty Hunter today. Maybe he does. I don't. Who knows? But VP, they're going to open up with the Batrider, who's gotten very, very strong since the last version. Could go into that mid lane. And really, he's a pretty good counter against the TA. That Napalm does fill up her stick, so if she does go that, which she should go for that, she'll have a little bit more health to get the refraction off. But that Firefly burns through the refraction like nobody's business. And even if you meld as the TA, well, then Batrider could still just stack up the Napalm and then Firefly right on over you. So Batrider, as far as that goes, should be a pretty good combination to counter the TA, although they're also picking up the Invoker alongside the Crystal Maiden, but Crystal Maiden is just generic support hero. But the Invoker as well could go into that lane. We might see a Sunstriking Invoker right now with that CM pick. I would think that's what is going to happen. Probably going to lane a off-lane Invoker, and then get some Sunstrikes around the board. It's really easy to land a Sunstrike when there's this much lockdown on the friendly team. Na'Vi, their pick is going to be the Shadow Shaman, kind of another generic support as well. But he does have a little bit of pushing power as well, and really shoring up the lack of disables that the Bounty Hunter and TA don't bring to the board. So they're going to rely on the Shadow Shaman a lot to lock down the VP heroes, and these bans are coming out pretty quickly. The Nyx Assassin, Naga Siren, Tidehunter, plus the Lifestealer. The Naga Siren and the Tidehunter kind of more generic bans, you know, banning out the giant team fight, supporty kind of thing. Nyx Assassin banned out. I mean, Na'Vi did pick it in the TI too, and was it them who was? I don't know if they've picked it up since then, but definitely other teams have been experimenting a lot more with the Nyx Assassin. So, in my opinion, it hasn't really worked all that well. So I don't really think he's ban worthy at this point. But really, what are you gonna do to ban out Na'Vi's heroes? I guess a Chen or Enchantress ban would be pretty good, because Puppy playing those heroes is pretty legendary. But Na'Vi banning out that Lifestealer is mostly tailored to airmen who really VP. They do like to run that Lifestealer, and he does do pretty good work most of the time. Let's see what the final bans are going to be like so far. But VP, I mean, normally within my going over hero comp lineup framework, I just go like, who needs farm and where are they gonna go? Batrider, he's kind of fits in weirdly as far as that goes, because he goes into the mid lane and he gets farm and experience, but he is kind of more like a wild card, at least in my mind. It's mostly because I haven't seen a whole lot of .75. So VP, they do have a fairly good single target lineup, and they're going to go for anti-mage, so they're going for a lot of single target right now, especially if Invoker does get that Sunstrike. They will have a lot of flexibility there, though. Their lanes might be a little bit tight, though. I mean, Invoker might end up going to the hard lane. Oh, Omni Knight from Na'Vi. Now, who's going to be their last pickup? That is the big question. TA solo mid, BH solo bottom, Shadow Shaman, Omni Knight, and X, someone on the top lane. But the last bands, CK and Enchantress, kind of standard stuff there. VP, they don't want Na'Vi to get that dual semi-carry kind of thing going. Lots of damage pouring out from those two heroes individually, and then together it's just better. Everything is better when you're together. But Na'Vi also banning out that Enchantress. Seeing that VP had 3 kind of lane-based heroes, they would have gotten pretty strong with the jungle. Of course, Chen is still in the pool, so VP could choose to go for that. That would probably mean that Invoker or Batrider, I don't know, one of them would have to go into a solo lane on the side. It might be Invoker solo bot, and they might want to run an aggressive tri lane on top. That would work very well for VP. The Batrider, or the Invoker on the bottom lane will mean that if he goes for an Exort build, his Sunstrike will be relevant once he hits that level 2 mark. And CM Anti-Mage, if they get like someone like a Venomancer, that would pretty much seal the deal as far as that goes. Of course, they'll have a little bit more flexibility, but they do have the late game. Will it be enough late game to combat Na'Vi? Because they do have the Bounty Hunter plus TA, and once the Omni Knight does get a couple of levels up, he'll have that repel on that Templar Assassin. And then she doesn't need to go for a BKB. She'll go for a Blink Dagger, and then she could go for a straight Daedalus or Crit or anything. And VP, they're going to go with the Enigma pickup, so that's going to be their jungle. They could run an offensive jungle Enigma because Na'Vi have yet to pick up a jungle hero. Of course, whenever you do run a jungle offensively, it is a little bit risky, just because you never really know what's around the corner. But with the Omni Knight pickup, now this is going to be a little bit weird, because Omni Knight as a hero, just in general, in my opinion, is one of the most awkward to lane. You know, right up there with Magnetar and Nyx Assassin. But he's a melee support hero, and usually with support heroes, who do you usually think of? Crystal Maiden, Venomancer, right? Disruptor. Na'Vi, they're going to pick up a Broodmother, so... okay. Okay, I see what's happening here. Bounty Hunter is going to be a farmer, so we're not going to see an off-lane get-nothing Bounty Hunter. They want a farming Bounty Hunter. They want big crits with the Janata. Wow, I haven't seen this in ever, really. Bounty Hunter in pubs is usually, we can see, does he have carry? He has 1 star in carry, so Valve apparently thinks that Bounty Hunter can carry, and he can if he gets enough gold. And especially if he gets enough protection. So Na'Vi gonna run a little bit of a different lane right now. Let's see if it's gonna work out for them. I mean, Bounty Hunter's gonna have a ton of protection. Omni Knight, although he can't really control the lane, he could make sure that his primary farmer doesn't die. Just a repel will mitigate so much damage. Plus a heal on top of that, it's always good. And Arzart will be around there as well. Light of Heaven, of course, will probably going down to the bot lane. And even if he's up against Invoker or Batrider, even CM Anti-Mage, it should be a decent time for him. There's not the most AoE. KSI probably going to go for a couple of points, going for more Nova heavy build rather than a Frostbite heavy build to deal with these increased bounty Spiderlings. So Na'Vi, they're just going to basically hold down all the other lanes while this Bounty Hunter gets farm. It is going to be played by Hovorst, probably heading towards the top lane, although, you know, can't make any judgments yet. Puppy... God. Sorry about that. Puppy's going to be playing that Omni Knight Light of Heaven on the Broodmother, Dendi on his classic TA, and Arzart on his Shadow Shaman. These are pretty like classic hero assignments right here. On the VP side, we have Airman playing the hard carry Anti-Mage, Bandit on the Batrider, KSI on the Crystal Maiden, Tame My Wild is going to be playing that Invoker, and now short-term memory test is going to be the Invoker on NS. Bam! Yes, I am so freaking good. Look, wait, did I say Invoker? I meant Enigma. No, I meant Enigma. I didn't say Invoker, did I? Shit. I meant Enigma. Oh, come on, guys. You know I meant Enigma. But it was on NS. I think I did say Invoker. Shit, I mean, Invoker's right there. I was looking at Invoker. Probably that's what my mind works in odd ways. But it's going to be NS on the Enigma. And with his build, it's probably going to be a laning Enigma. But what the hell is going on? I don't know if they want to lane it like this, because that would mean, of course, there's no one in the lane. You usually don't want to do that, but they're probably just going to be protecting Light of Heaven so that he could lay down his webs. Dendi and Arzart wandering around. Arzart with no courier? The hell is going on here? Arzart is going to walk all the way back and get a courier, I guess. Usually you don't see this, but I'm sure it doesn't make much of a difference. Or it won't, I'm sure. But on top lane, it's going to be Omni Knight plus Bounty Hunter versus an Enigma. So Enigma will be able to harass them both decently. I mean, they're both melee. And although they do have quite a few offensive capabilities between the two of them, the Enigma will be able to convert and then harass. And the Poor Man's Shield is already up on the Bounty Hunter, so he's going to be able to mitigate a lot of that damage. But still, that Enigma is going to be doing decently on that top lane. Light of Heaven on the bot lane. That ward is still bugged. But Light of Heaven on the bot lane is going to be up against Invoker. Let's see if he's going to go for an Exhort build. Usually when you see Invokers on the bottom lane, or really on the side lane, they do go for an Exhort build just because with the mid lane you want a little bit more control over your game, and that's when you go for the max movement speed build. But NS is not the a really high farming hero on VP. He's going to go to this bot lane. It could be a support Bat Rider. I have no idea what the hell's going on in this game, guys. Granted, I don't really know a lot about 0.75 at this point. I'm starting to learn more and everything. But support Bat Rider I have not seen ever. Except for pubs when they accidentally run in a support Bat Rider just because they don't realize that Bat Rider is... just because he is an intelligence hero doesn't mean he's a support. That's really the only time I see it. Dual lane mid, KSI and Airman versus Dendi. Dendi is going to have a little bit of a tough time here. KSI is going to constantly harass that TA, burn through the refraction charges, and then stuff like this is going to happen, where Dendi's just going to get free shotted. He will have a bottle up eventually, and once he gets a couple points of side blades, he will be fine to last hit. Really, right now, he's doing decently. He actually has more than Airman at this point. But the harassment will be slow and consistent from KSI. Horse on this top lane, going to go strong onto Bandit, but still he's taking a lot of damage from these Eidolons. The poor man's shield blocking out a lot of that. Actually, 100% of that? Yeah, a lot of it. So he's not taking much from the Eidolons yet, but once Bandit gets to level 3, then it's going to be a lot more serious. Puppy on the bot lane using Purification to farm up Centaurs. And of course Arzart pulling this pull camp. So they're just getting Horse as much protection as he can possibly get. Let's see what build he's going to go for, because usually with bounty hunters you go for a fairly balanced build. It really depends on it's a game-to-game basis what build you want to go for, but when he's getting free farm, he's probably not going to look toward get the ganks, but of course he's going to get track at level 6, of course he will. But he might just go for a ton of Janata, just get a huge hit off and try to burst people down, or go for Janata plus Shadow Walk. If you Shadow Walk onto someone, then Janata them, and then pop Shadow Walk again, and then Janata them again, well then it's a lot of damage. On his bot lane, Light of Heaven is struggling a little bit versus Tame My Wild, but the Invoker, I mean, he has 2 points of Exhort, so that's a lot of right-click damage coming out there. And NS is playing that support Bat Rider. He could be jungling. Bat Rider is a fairly capable jungler. You just stack up the napalm, you stack up the creep camps 3 or 4 times, and then you just napalm them all down, and then Firefly evaporates the entire wave. Light of Heaven in a lot of trouble in the bot lane. Tame My Wild has got to be careful as well. But Light of Heaven, if he gets hit by Stray Sunstrike, it'll be all over for him. One more Sentry Ward is available to the Bat Rider, but Light of Heaven has moved backwards. Sunstrike not going to hit. I don't think it would have been enough. 2 points? No, it would have been enough. Light of Heaven narrowly dodging death there, but he's still got to be careful. Only 130 HP, 140 now. He has to get into a web. He doesn't have mana for it, but still, he's got to be careful. Pulls happening on both sides. Force getting a lot of... now he's getting neutral income as well as the lane income. So everything's working out for Horse, leading as far as the gold per minute goes. Airman not too far behind him. Dendi is struggling a little bit, as I said before. He's going to Bottle Crow. Yeah, he is going to Bottle Crow. He has to, really. If he does Bottle Crow, he's just going to die. But KSI doing the support thing on the CM, harassing Dendi back, keeping him off the lane. And then to respond to this, Dendi could choose to go for a couple more points of side blades. That is, of course, straying from the normal TA build, where we max out refraction and then max out meld. But an additional point of side blades will help him last hit quite a bit. He'll be a little bit safer, and he won't have to take as much harassment. Of course, then it will kind of cut out his capabilities to be aggressive once he hits that level 6 mark, and really his ganking will be a little bit weaker. But let's see what he decides to do. More than likely, he's just going to keep onto the regular build, because even though he's getting harassed pretty badly, he's still surviving. He's not in any danger of dying versus this lane. The one who's in danger of dying is Light of Heaven on his bot lane. Tame My Wild does have a level 3 Sunstrike available. Sentry Ward does get dropped down, but Light of Heaven is long gone. Bat Rider still playing support, and really, I mean, I've been mentioning the Bat Rider playing support quite a few times, but I haven't really gone over why I don't like this choice. Because Bat Rider, he's a hero who is so reliant on levels. You want that level 6 pretty much as fast as you can. You want this sticky napalm to stack up very quickly, just because it is such a useful spell to have lots of levels of. It's what you max out first. Then, of course, everything else that he has is flat damage. And when you support as a Bat Rider, you don't get any experience. Gold isn't that a big deal. Batrider doesn't need all that much gold. He would like boots, urn, phase, not phase, well, sometimes phase, I guess. Force staff, blink dagger, all that good stuff. But really, what he needs is levels, and he's level 3 right now versus level 5 Invoker. So Batrider would have been level 5 if he was in a solo lane, but instead he's a little bit of a lower level. And Batrider could function without that much experience, but the fact of the matter is that he functions just so much better once you get more napalm, once you get a couple more points of Firefly for that additional damage. Other than that, he's just a walking flaming lasso. And when you get to that point, it's like, why didn't you just pick the Beastmaster? Because Roar is pretty much just flaming lasso, except in my opinion it's pretty much better. And since his other skills aren't going to be leveled that highly, well, the difference between the two heroes really is nullified at that point. Except Beastmaster could actually use axes and stack up ancients. But VP, they're going to run this anyway. Let's see how it's going to work out for them. I mean, he hasn't done anything yet, but to be fair, no one has done anything yet. This game has been relatively calm, pushing the 6-minute mark soon without a single first blood. Just both teams continuing to farm up. Havorst is leading the way. That's what he's going to go for. He has a ring of regen. Dendi going to get trapped up. He doesn't have a fraction. He doesn't have mana. He has a regeneration rune, but he won't have time to pop it off. NS has arrived. Blink forward. And in the meantime, first blood gets drawn on the top lane. Dendi going to take a Sunstrike to the skull, and Airman does swipe that TA down. But the one to get the first blood has been Havorst. No, the Shadow Shaman. Ars Art picking up the first blood versus the Enigma. So Na'Vi, I mean, even though Dendi does die, they do get a first blood kill, which is pretty good for them. Of course, Dendi died, which is never what you want to have happen. And he didn't have any reliable gold, so he lost pretty much everything from that. But hey, they got a kill. I don't know if they had enough levels for the track kill. It probably would have been enough. Tamed Wild, you get hit by a Sonic Trap. Light of Heaven, you gotta watch out for that. Sunstrike, though. Sunstrike is gonna get blocked by Dendi. Is there enough damage? He's gonna try to teleport out here. There is enough damage. And Tamed Wild does go down. Dendi, wandering about the lanes, gonna stick towards the tried and true TA build. Gonna head towards Blink Dagger, I guess, as soon as he possibly can. But Light of Heaven, now gonna have a little bit of free time to push this lane out, get a little bit of farm going for him, because he's been struggling a little bit on this lane. NS level 4. Only level 4. I mean, Enigma's level 4, but he's on the hard lane, and Arzart level 5 from the pulls. Puppy, been jungling this entire time with the pulls. He's level 4 as well, but he's almost at that level 5 mark, whereas Batrider is a new level 4. So 2-1, Na'Vi have a little bit of an advantage moving forward into this game. It's kind of hard to evaluate the Na'Vi late game, though, just because Bounty Hunter is such an X factor right now. I mean, Bounty Hunter usually is just more of a ganking utility role. He goes for BKB, he goes for drums, he goes for the cost-efficient survival items. But in this situation, he's going to go straight up for Vlad's, it looks like. He could go for something like a Desolator, which is usually an extension item for Bounty Hunter. But evaluating how powerful a carry Bounty Hunter is going to be is pretty difficult, just because it's never seen. Light of Heaven does take down the bot lane tower, late fortification actually. He's going to hold him off on the top lane, but not the bot lane. So Forrest, let's see what he's actually how he's gonna perform this game. Because Bounty Hunter, I'm sure you've seen it in your pub games. If you let a Bounty Hunter get stacked, he will one-shot you. It's really not fun, especially when I'm playing a sport hero, which seems to be all the time in the case of me playing against a Bounty Hunter. It's always me on like a friggin' Ancient Apparition or something, and it's like, oh wait, he's coming, and I can't do anything about it. Cold Feet, nope, he kills you in one hit. Dendi gonna find NS, but NS does not have that lasso. Airman's gonna blink forward. Dendi does have 2 stacks of that napalm, but a very low level on napalm. He's gonna take a repel, and now NS in a little bit of trouble. Is there any range attacks? Shuriken plus the shock is gonna kill the Batrider, who is trying to hide in this little crevice right here. Didn't really work out for him because he did fall down anyway. And Dendi, he was baiting that entire time. VP, they kind of bailed out though. I don't know if they realized that Dendi wasn't gonna die or if they just didn't. I don't know, but. Now Dendi with a double damage rune could go straight towards Airman. If he gets a blink into a favorable position, then Airman's going to take a lot of damage. But with level 4 blink, it's some sizable range on that. Instead, the push is going to happen on the top lane, where Puppy is going to try to lay the creep wave. Omni Knight isn't the most tanky hero, but he does have a heal, killing Eidolons with his hammer. That will buy time for these Serpent Wards to take down tower. Actually, for Vorst, getting the last hit. Going for Vlad's first on the Bounty Hunter who's getting primary farm. Very interesting choice. I personally think if you're going to protect the Bounty Hunter to get farm, then you want to get as much damage as you can. But he's going to go for the lifesteal. I don't really... Just rushing Vlad's is just such a weird choice. Because Vlad's, I mean, yeah, the armor's nice and mana regen and damage and everything, but really Vlad's is more of a mid-late game item that you get on someone like an Omni Knight, rather than a first rush item that you get on a farming Bounty Hunter. Get a Battle Fury, get a Desolator, get some damage so that you could actually kill things. But going for Vlad's, it's not cost-effective damage. I don't know about that, but we'll see. We'll see. Bounty Hunter does do quite a bit of damage right now anyway, just because of his level 8 most gold per minute on the map, so he's doing perfectly fine. But I don't know, he could have spent that gold a little bit better in my opinion. Puppey can look towards the mid lane. Sonic Trap is going to hit onto Bandit. And where's the repel? There's the repel onto Dendy. Does Bandit have level 6? No, he does not. He's going to drop very quickly. Forced the track, giving his team a whole lot more gold, giving himself a whole lot more gold. And Puppey farming some Eidolons. That's the good stuff right there. So now 3 onto the mid lane. Puppey, Dendy, and Havorst possibly looking for a push onto this tier 1 tower. In the meantime, Light of Heaven still in the spot lane. NS is getting a little bit of time to farm. But Light of Heaven is level 8 versus the level 4 Bat Rider with a level 5 CM to support. I mean, the CM is going to protect the Bat Rider as best she can, but I mean, Bat Rider needs some more experience right now. Havorst is going to open up with the track onto NS. Huge not a hit onto him. Looking for the Purification hit. Not going to happen. Instead, it might be the Crystal Maiden who's in a little bit of trouble. NS does survive. Slips away to the south. Now KSI is going to try to help. No, KSI is dead. Track. Spiderlings. Huge not a hit. And Bounty Hunter does live. Maybe you got the Vladimir's offering to help Light of Heaven pushing with the spiders. But then it's like, why don't you just have Broodmother get it? Because she will always be with her spiders. I don't know about that choice, but either way, they're going to take another tier 2 tower. That leaves only one more tier 2 tower for the VP side. Puppey going to move forward with Ars, Art, and Dendy. They're going to look to gank and then push down this tower. Tamon, Wild, and Bandit. Very vulnerable. Still no level 6 on the Enigma. There's a Sonic Trap onto the Invoker, plus a Hex from Ars, Art. Shackle will lash. It's tanking the tower, but it's going to be more than fine with the Guardian Angel. Hammer Wild will drop to the Templar Assassin. Bandit's going to make his way out of here. NS still not yet level 6. Anti-Mage is going to swoop in and kill Ars Art, but now Havorst and Light of Heaven are on the chase. He's going to blink out of there just fine and actually blink towards Puppey. But Puppey is going to be just fine with that repel anyway. So Na'Vi gain 1, lose 1. But they gained an Invoker in exchange for a Shadow Shaman. A very decent trade for them. Now TA does have a Blink Dagger. Going to run straight damage. Huge damage there. Actually, not as much as I thought it would be. It looked like it was going to do a lot more, but Anti-Mage with maxed out Blink isn't going to die anytime soon. And TA will have a Blink as well, so Na'Vi, they're just pushing all over the map. This is like old school Na'Vi style. Not through the hero choices, just by the play style. Sonic Trap is going to reveal the fact that Na'Vi does know that NS and KSI are here. Not going to open up on them, however. Yeah, doing such aggressive pushing. Top lane has been completely cleaned out. The bottom lane has been completely cleaned out. The mid lane has been, halfway cleaned out. That tower gold is giving them such a huge advantage. You can see Arzart already has a Blink Dagger plus Arcane Boots plus a Bracer on a support Shadow Shaman. Is ridiculous farm on these supports. Like even Puppey, who is getting kind of like the short end of the support stick. He's pretty much the poorest hero on the map for the Na'Vi side, I believe. Yeah, he is pretty far behind Arzart. But even he's doing pretty decently. Arcane Boots plus a Buckler going to go for the mech hold. He's going to be the mech holder for the team. And Light of Heaven is well on his way to his, what's it called? Orchid. Once he gets that, the Bat Rider's got to be very careful. Anti-Mage's got to be really careful. Really, everyone on VP, they got to be careful. If they get silenced, they're obviously not going to cast any spells, but they're really reliant on their spells. KSI going to get initiated upon the Purification onto Dendy. Will annihilate that Crystal Maiden. Now Bandit's going to gotta be in a little bit of trouble. Gotta be. I'm not even making any sense anymore. I should drink more water, but maybe I should just take a break from casting at least for an hour or two. Go outside and run or something like that. Okay, Na'Vi. They do have the wards available to them. Blink Dagger on the Shadow Shaman, Blink Dagger on Dendy. So they can open up on pretty much anyone. Guarantee a kill. Bat Rider's finally going to hit level 6 14 minutes into the game. It took you long enough, Bat Rider. Jesus. But the Spiderling army, not even needing those Serpent wards. They're going to push down this tier 2 mid tower. That is the last tier 2 tower that VP have. But now Na'Vi on that advantage, they're going to need a pick if they're going to open up into the base. Dendy going to take a repel, going to go straight in, going to take a lasso though. Refraction charge blocking a lot of that damage. He's going to haste rune himself right back out of there. Bandit does have a black hole. Going to drop it onto 3. This could be huge. Dendi is going to be the first to fall. Sunstrike onto 2. Meteor onto 2. Puppey is going to drop as well. No, he's going to purify himself. Havorce has now arrived into this fight. Going to go straight for the Invoker. The track damage, not yet there. He's going to get the track gold, I bet. No, it's not going to happen. Track not on cooldown. But Havorce cleans up after that fight. Even after 3-man black hole, Na'Vi just with so much gold on their side. So many levels as well. Na'Vi vastly ahead as far as this game goes. 14 minutes in, 4-10, and the gold advantage, when it looks like this, when you have these like 2,000 gold increments this early in the game, you know you're doing well, or you know you're in a tough situation depending on what side of the graph you're on. The experience graph is still in favor of Na'Vi. Havorce, what are you doing? He's going for a Hyperstone. He's going for full pushing Bounty Hunter. I have never ever seen this before. I'm assuming that's going to be a Cuirass, and he's just going to be a walking aura. Usually that's what you see from a long lane Bounty Hunter. You see something more along those lines, except you see it like, 40 minutes in. But rushing up this build, it's helping the pushes quite a bit. And they do have a lot of time. I don't know why Bounty Hunter isn't actually helping his team with this. There he is. There it goes. Now a double life is going to be picked up by Dendi. Still not with any damage items, but a blink plus phase boots. Now with a double life, they could push down a set of racks. His Light of Heaven will have his Spiderlings do a lot of damage to one lane. Probably just benefit from keeping Light of Heaven on the bot lane, move all the rest of the heroes to the mid lane, and then just do a push like that, because then you don't have to deal with, well, only level 1 Crystal Nova, only level 2 Firefly. So VP, they don't have nearly enough AoE to deal with the huge Spiderling army. Dendi going to go straight in for NS. He does have a lasso up again. He's going to pull Dendi back, but taking no damage because of that repel. Also has a double life as well. Bandit is going to get hexed up. Not enough damage. There's the Guardian Angel Havorce on the front lines, trying to do as much damage as he can. Purification doing a lot of damage to Airman, but really it's just buying time for Light of Heaven to work down this tower. NS, I'm sorry, doing a lot of damage as well, but taking a lot of damage as well. Dendi going to try to go for the Crystal Man, who gets annihilated in an instant. And that's going to get blinked upon. Dendi with the meld hit is going to get himself a double kill. Still does have that Aegis Puppey with mana for purification. Going to get it on Force, bursting down Tamar Wild, then the Enigma, then a Hex onto Airman. That is going to be a team wipe for Na'Vi. 16 minutes in, and they're taking down Raxes, and VP, they have nothing to say about it. Insane. Oh my god, what happened this game? Bounty Hunter he got Demon Edge instead of Hyperstone. He had Hyperstone, then sold it. Then went Hyperstone again, and then sold it. And then got Demon Edge. Fair enough. But that makes a little more sense, I guess. Damage on the farming Bounty Hunter. But Na'Vi with Raxes down at 17 minutes in. They're going to go for a second set. Once again, repel onto Dendi. Who's he going to jump on? Probably going to be this Bat Rider or possibly the Enigma. Doesn't have the Black Hole for another 30 seconds, though. Dendi's taking a little bit of damage. He does have the Aegis, does have Puppey to heal him up. Stun into Force, plus a Sunstrike can do a lot of damage, but Force does have Puppey right next to him, and that Sunstrike is pretty much all nullified. Na'Vi just looking so strong this game. The kind of weird tactics, but yeah, it's weird tactics versus another weird tactic. That's the support Bat Rider. And, well, I'm sure you could see how it's working out for them. It's not working out for them. Spoiler alert. But Dendi meld is going to look towards Bandit. Huge meld hit. One more hit. No, it's not going to do enough. NS now tracked up. Na'Vi, they're all slowed down. The turn rate really killing them in this area of the game. The Sonic Traps continuing to fly out. They're just getting some farm on spot lane, using that Vlad to try to heal up this Bounty Hunter. Waiting for Puppey to get those purifications off cooldown. Half mana, but now Light of Heaven going to take a repel. Who's he going to go for? He's going to silence NS, and instead they're going to go straight for the Invoker. Does buy back in the game. NS trying to make his way out. Not going to happen though. Dendi very, very quick with that track bonus movement speed as someone else gets shot down. That is going to be the Enigma. Now Airman is chasing down Dendi, but in the meantime, Tamar Wild getting a lot of damage from Light of Heaven. The rest of his team, the wards have been dropped down. They're going to go for the tier 3 tower. It is going to drop as well. Where did Dendi go, actually? Oh, wait, no. He died. Okay, Horse died. Okay, that's what I was looking at. Serpent Wards trying to get cleaned up a little bit, but Dendi holding the front lines. The Spiderlings, the Serpent Wards, the Aura. Well, the Aura is not actually here anymore, but still, Na'Vi just pushing so darn aggressively. And VP, they don't have enough early game. Support Bat Rider early game, it's nothing. It doesn't do anything. Now KSI going to get 2-shotted. Bandit going to get 3-shotted. The Orchid might be enough. No, it's not going to be enough. 40 damage short, but now Tamar Wild's in a little bit of danger. Dendi still alive, still with that Aegis. Tamar Wild can take a Sonic Trap, going to get a Cold Snap onto Light of Heaven, but it's not going to be enough. Black Hole now, going to bring down the Aegis. Light of Heaven can take a couple tower shots as well, but Light of Heaven can just turn around onto Bandit. One hit, plus Spiderling Inject. Gonna get himself a double kill. And Dendy buying a Desolator from the enemy base. Midraxes have been brought down. Not yet, actually. Airman's still... Oh, I was about to say Airman's still alive. But, yeah, that didn't last for very long. And now Na'Vi with 2 Raxes down. They're going to slide right up to this top lane. That is conveniently pushing out. Already at the tier 3s there. They're going to kill all the buildings for extra gold. Because why not? It's 6 to 22. Huge advantage in favor of Na'Vi and VP. They're all but spent in this game. Their early game, simply not enough. They would have had enough, I feel, if they... Batrider ball looks so weird. They would have had enough if they had a Batrider solo, I feel. Enigma in the jungle, Batrider on a side lane or something. But really, no lanes went well for VP. The mid lane was decent, but Dendy still found his way around the map. Enigma was getting a lot of pressure from Forest, and at least that was a break-even lane. But then bot lane, I mean, the Invoker plus Batrider, they invested 2 heroes, and they didn't even shut down Light of Heaven. Granted, Light of Heaven didn't have the best time. Oh, Arzart. Run, Arzart. Shackle. 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 He's looking for a Hex. Hex. No, he's just going to die. Okay. Fair enough. Puppy with a Mask of Madness. DPS Omni Knight. Trying to smack them bitches. NS now. Oh, NS. You don't want to go there. Dendy blinks forward. Gonna get that kill onto the anti-mage. 2-shotting. That Batrider. And now Tama Wild. Hexed up. Silenced as well. Shackled. Triple kill for Dendy. This is going to be the tier 4s. Not even going to bother with the tier 3 on the top lane. And VP just got stomped. I really don't like this Batrider support pick. I feel like that is what killed them the most. And oh, Divine Rapier. Okay, cool. In VP, they have a solid lineup, but the way they laned it, just a little bit wonky. But either way, guys, that is going to be it. VP versus Na'Vi from the Starseries Season 3 is going to end with Na'Vi taking the victory. This is why you want Batrider to solo a mid lane. Anti-Mage, Crystal Maiden, I don't know. It's good in some cases, but not good enough, I suppose. That's going to be it, guys. Thanks for watching. GG.